What's up guys, Darkdally here, and today I'm back at my little scrap heap settlement in Starlight Drive-In. Now I've not made a ton of progress since the last time, but I've done a lot of really small things, and there's some cool mods I've been using that I want to show you guys because maybe you're not aware of them because they're not real super popular. First of all, I added a new door to the front. Now previously I had two little power doors, and I went ahead and I added a big one of the junk wall gates. Now, as you can see here, I never liked these gates because NPCs, at least for me, always seem to open them. Every time an NPC walks by any kind of door, even if they don't intend on going through it, they open it. And that always bugs me, so that makes, to me, this gate completely useless because it's just always open. Well, I got a mod called Power Doors Remote Control and Lock, and I will link that in the description. I'll go ahead and show briefly. I'll probably do another video actually like reviewing and showing the mod. But what it does is it allows me to put a switch here, and now I can open and close this gate, and there's no other way to open and close it. You have to use the switch to do it. So that's a very cool mod. I'll put a link to it in the description, and I'll have a separate video just showing how to do that mod, how to work it, because I don't want to use up tons and tons of time in this one video. So that's one thing I did to my scrap heap settlement here in Starlight. And if you missed the first part, these are in a playlist, and this will be, the previous part will be the part before this, which I will link at the end of the video on the upper left-hand corner of the screen, or you can just check my playlists for my Starlight scrap heap. Okay, so not much else has changed. I got this monstrosity here. This is another mod that I kind of want to show that I'm kind of just testing out or whatever, and we'll get to that in a second. Now, first I want to show you some of the additions I've made to this. You guys may have seen this. I have, thanks to the suggestions of you guys, went ahead and downloaded some more mods. I was only using Homemaker. I went ahead and decided to go ahead and get Settlement Objects Expanded, SOE, because I don't know. I'm always like really afraid that if I get too many mods, they'll start conflicting, because that is what happens. You know, if you keep downloading mods, eventually they conflict and shit breaks. I've already lost an hour worth of building on this project and had to go backwards, but anyway, I digress. I decided to go ahead and get SOE, and it was the best decision ever. It gives way more stuff that's useful to me anyway than Homemaker does, and I'm using them in conjunction. I'm also using settlement keywords. Very, very good idea, so thanks guys. And because of that, it allowed me to, I got some nice smoke now coming out of my chimneys. The little house here now has smoke coming out of the chimney, as well as my Breaking Bad style meth lab over here. This is still a work in progress, but it's got a little smokestack. I really thought it needed that. And again, still a work in progress, very much a work in progress, but it's my little chem lab here, my little bus chem lab is getting there. Now you may remember this little room here, which was actually empty. This was just a shell of a building. I've gone through and I've started to do some decorating here. I'm trying to kind of decorate as I go. I got a little bed in the corner. I'm still working on lighting. I've just got the smallest amount of lighting. All the crafting benches where they're at is temporary. Mostly, it's like I got a power armor station there, and I got the armor smith workbench over there. I'm just moving them out of the way as I go. So don't mind the crafting working benches. Now, but here's kind of some places where I've started to kind of decorate a little bit and do some cool things. For all my settlement building, I'm using, I'll tell you right now, and I will have links in the description, I'm using Place Everywhere, Homemaker, SOE, spring cleaning for all the scrap things that I have to do. So let's see. So, okay, so I've finished this room off. So it's no longer just a shell. And I've gone ahead and started on a second story. I've decided what I wanted to do for the second story. I haven't quite decided what I'm putting up here yet, but I've got to start at a second story for this little building here. And we can see it. I made sure that it looks good from out here, and it does. According to what I want to do. That part that's hanging out there, that does need some support down onto the freight container, and I'll get to that. I mentioned how clean my grass was, and I wanted to add some weeds. SOE definitely did add a lot of options for weeds. I'll have links for that too. I'll have links for, I'll have at least a list of all my mods, and I'll have links for all the ones that are applicable to this. I am planning on getting some kind of cohesive thing together to link all of my load order, but for now I'm still working on that. I did get some little weeds going here, a start on it anyway. I want to do some more, but I ran out of fertilizer, so this is what I could do. But it was a very, very good idea. This looked like a damn putting green on a golf course before, and now it looks a little more weedy and something more like Raiders would you know, use, because I can't imagine they'd be out there meticulously with the clippers every time there's a weed. These are Raiders. They just want to harvest some potatoes so that they can put it with their vodka and have Bloody Marys, right? That's all they give a shit about. Okay, so moving on to the rest of some of the additions. I showed briefly what I did here with the power doors remote control and lock mod. It's very cool, and I will, again, show this in a future thing. I say that because I'm going to have that in more places in the future on this. It allows, basically, it allows you to put a switch to control any door. You know, any vanilla door that already exists. That includes this door. I could remove this brick wall and put a switch to control this door, for instance. And I have some other uses in mind for it. I will get to this in a second. So, okay, so this is no longer a shell. This is now a full, well, almost full building. Back here, here's my trailer storage that I may have showed. I went ahead and added a trailer door to it. That trailer door, well, and no, the trailer comes from Vanilla. The trailer door comes from Homemaker, is where I got the trailer door from. And I used Placed Everywhere to get it nice and placed in there. And out here I'm working on, now because there's a train track right there, and there's a wrecked, not only is there a train track, there's a wrecked train, like right there, you can see the remnants of it. I decided that the people who settle here might well want to use parts from that to help build this settlement. And so I've gone ahead and I decided the workshop is going to be completely walled off by train cars. As you can see here, well, not train cars, but freight containers and crates and the like. So I've started to kind of wall this off. And this has been really slow going because I want to place them, and I've been using Place Everywhere to place them at the correct angles. I want to place them as if they're sitting on the ground that they're sitting on. I don't want them sunk into the ground. As you can see here, this one's a little tilted because it's sitting up there on the grass to down here. I've been really trying to pay attention to all of that with each of these. See this one here, I've got, oops, I need some cinder blocks there. This one here is propped up on these cinder blocks. And I've been paying attention to a lot of that as much as I can because I want this to have the most organic and immersive feel that I can. I want it to feel like this settlement is built into a pile of wrecked freight containers. And back here, this will be the workshop. It's going to be, I'm going to have some kind of further wall up or something perhaps. I'm going to have some kind of roof over it. I haven't really decided that yet. But I've made enough progress I wanted to show you guys. Now up here, I went ahead and gone with a suggestion from a comment on the first part of this where I showed that I had these beams. Now these are just fence posts which I've used Place Everywhere to scale up several times and tilt, whoopsie, to support that roof. But I imagine them like railroad ties. They kind of look like railroad ties. And a viewer mentioned, well, they're not supported on the bottom. You need to get some sandbags or something there to support them. So what I did was, I don't have sandbags, but I decided cinder blocks work well. So I used the cinder blocks I got from Homemaker. And what I did is I placed cinder blocks at what I thought would be the appropriate and available places to support these. And then I tried something different, and this is one thing I'm going to show you guys how I did. Is I said, okay, this looks all well and good, but they're not fixed into place. Where can I find some nails? I want some, like, I mean, I've got railroad ties, supposedly, so I want some, like, big-ass nails, like you would find in a railroad tie, to tie them down. And what I did was I used railroad spikes and to try to kind of fasten these concrete blocks in place. And I've got them placed around the concrete blocks in such a manner as it looks like it would support them. Now, is that too fine a detail? Yeah, perhaps that's too fine a detail. But I'm doing really, really fine details with this place, so I thought it was worth it. Let me go ahead and show you how I did that. I mean, it might be obvious, it might not be. I got some railroad spikes here. What I do is I just go ahead and let's just drop one. Just drop one. And then now, of course, I'm using Place Everywhere, which is really essential for building, in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open build mode. Now, with Place Everywhere, I can highlight this, and then I can press the End key. See up there in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, it said Objects Physics Off. So it turned the physics off for this object. So now I can take this and I can move it just like a build object, now using Place Everywhere. And I will do a tutorial on Place Everywhere in the future, don't worry, I do plan to. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use 3 on the numpad to scale this up. I'm going to scale this up to 250. It's the scale I was using for the nails. If you want to do the same thing, I found 250 works well. So we're at 190, we're at 200, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should put us up. With my current step, I still have it at 10% step. That should put us up at 2. Let's go down at 250. So now we can go ahead and grab this, and then what I was doing is I would place it in the basic vicinity of where I want it. Then I would use the other numpad key controls for place everywhere. Let's go ahead and let's see. So I want to rotate it, so we'll use control to toggle the rotation to the way we want it. And then I use the numpad again to, I'm not going to go through every key. I use the numpad again to go ahead and place these where I want them. And that's how I did these. If y'all were curious, it's kind of a cool idea. I think you could use, in a settlement like this, it's made by raiders, it's built out of junk. The little bunch of nails actually I think looks fairly good. You could use it for a lot of things. That's kind of cool. Now, one more mod I want to show real quick, and I will do a separate video for this as well. This big ass monstrosity here, and this is just sitting out here again. Same with all my crafting stuff, because my intended crafting area is in here, and right now it's not complete yet. So since I'm still building there, my crafting shit has moved out. This is my Fusion Core Refueler, and it's a mod that it's not super popular, and I think it should be. So I want to show you a teaser here, and then I'll do a separate video for it, and the mod is simply called Fusion Core Refueler. I got it from Nexus, but I do believe it's also available on Bethesda. Of course, again, I'm on PC, so I can't say the availability for any of this stuff for console. Now, let me go ahead and hop in my power armor here. Now, I'm super cautious, so I just take out my core. There we go. Let's put my core back in. And I'm going to show you what this does. As good as I can here, I'll have a separate video for it. Okay, so we're in the power armor. Now, what you can do is, as you can see, this core is almost 100. But basically what this thing does is, now when I push this, it says battery safe off. And if I push it again, it says battery safe on. I'm just showing this because this is in my settlement. With the battery safe, what that does is, now my battery safety is on. What that does is, if my Fusion Core drains past like 7 or 8%, instead of just keeping going until it blows it and loads a new one, with this battery safe on, that makes sure that my power armor will unload the core at about 7 or 8% and pick a new one, and it will put in my inventory a drained Fusion Core, and then I can use this machine to make a new one. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've drained my Fusion Core just a little bit. I mean, it's probably really enough. Let's go ahead and get out of this armor. I don't need to be in the armor. Let's just go ahead and hop out of this, and let's grab that Fusion Core out. Just show you a quick example of how this works. I've got nuclear material in there already, so I'll just go ahead and open this up, go to my ammo. You can see here I have this Fusion Core 85%. I'll just toss it in there, and then I push this button, and then the little machine works, and it recharges it. Now, is it immersive? I guess that's up to you. This could be considered immersive, and then it spits it out at the bottom. Is it needed? No, it's not needed, because, you know, anyone with a high-level character probably has hundreds of Fusion Cores and see it spit out a fully charged Fusion Core. Anyone with a high-level character probably has hundreds of Fusion Cores. It's really impossible to run out except at extreme low levels, but it's fun. It's fun. You know, you put in nuclear material, you put in Fusion Cores that are drained or, you know, partially discharged. You push the button, it works, it animates, it spits it out. It's a really cool mod. I'm going to go over this in the future. I just wanted to show that because that is in my settlement. And as long as I'm here showing exactly what's going on, I'm using the Raider Overhaul mod. It's an awesome, awesome mod, but it is an overhaul. It's going to conflict with a lot of stuff because it changes so much stuff in the game. But that is where the fancy paint, the pink Hello Kitty paint on my power armor comes from. If you guys were curious, how did he get that crazy Raider power armor? That's where that comes from. So I just want to show some of the mods, some of the stuff behind this, and some of the progress and what I'm doing on my scrap heap settlement here in Starlight. I've not made a whole ton of progress since the last time. That's partially because I lost some due to a mod conflict. As I said, Raider Overhaul can conflict with a lot of things because it's an overhaul mod. I installed Warson's Power Armor Garage, which is an awesome mod, but it conflicts with Raider Overhaul in such a way that it deleted this paint. I couldn't get it back. I had to reload a previous save. So there's that. Alright guys, so I'm going to leave you with that, some of the notes on what's going on here. Just kind of an update on my little Starlight scrap heap Raider settlement. It's coming along nice. I'm making really small touches and making small progress at a time, but it's really awesome changes. Like my little bus drug lab over here. I love it. When I look over the rooftops and I see the smoke rolling out of my little Breaking Bad style meth lab here. Very cool stuff. So guys, there's lots more to come. I'm going to do individual videos to show the exact, all the procedures, the step-by-step, and how good mods like this and that power door mod are, how to use them, how to install them, and exactly what you can do with them. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Tell me what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for upcoming Fallout 4 content. Guys, my name is Darkdally, and I will catch you all next time.